Hello and welcome back. Welcome everybody to Jimmy's First Gen Mini Rescue. I'm Jimmy and I do the maintenance and try to keep our Mini Coopers running, reliable, the whole works. Basically everything mechanical for the Minis as well as the other vehicles we own. You see out here, that's the boat. It's got a Suzuki outboard 175 four-stroke engine. We have a van, a 2013 Sprinter, Mercedes Sprinter. It's a V6 turbocharged van, passenger model. And we also have a 2014 Subaru Forester, which brings me to today's video because it's another one on the Forester. I know the people that tune in for minis are saying, when you're going to do the mini clutch? When you're going to do the mini clutch? You're leaning on it right now. It's in that bright green box, I know. However, since the Forester is a more of a daily driver than the minis, we drive the gray mini because we have it, or we drive the convertible. So the blue is not really a priority to fix. It's a priority for video content or whatever. However, right now, it's not a priority to fix it, but the Subaru is, because my wife uses that a lot when she has to go to meetings and things like that and possibly have other people riding in the car with her. Anyway, and for me personally, it's bee season. So I've been doing a lot of things with the bees. Some of you may know I'm also a beekeeper. We have 5 hives in our backyard that I'm taken care of. So our apiary, and it's growing because I just caught another swarm. But that's on the bee channel. Check out Jimmy's Neighborhood Bees if you're interested in that. Anyway, I'm going to read today's fortune, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm going to get into today as far as the maintenance aspects. Okay, here we go. Today's fortune is: don't be afraid of opposition. Don't be afraid of opposition. Remember, a kite rises against the wind. So, yeah, don't be afraid of opposition. Remember, a kite rises against the wind. So you don't really fly a kite with the wind, you fly it against the wind. And that's what makes a kite do what it does. Anyway, so don't be afraid of that. Embrace it, do whatever. Anyway, so that's today's fortune. Today, what I'm going to get into, and I'm rambling. What I'm going to get into is on the Subaru. As some of you know, I've been chasing this weird vibration that we get around 70 plus miles an hour, 72, 75 miles an hour. The first one was the wheel bearing was bad. On the passenger side, I replaced both wheel bearings. There's video, you can look in the video history of this channel and find that. The second thing was one of the bushings on my lower control arm, or 2 of the bushings actually were really bad. And I think they were only replaced once, and the car has 258,000 miles plus. I'll get the exact mileage later. Okay, so that was replaced when I was at my my son-in-law's house. Oh no, I did the bearings at my son-in-law's and my daughter's house, and I did the lower control arms here. We had the car aligned at the dealership. They aligned it. And my carrier bearing, the drive shaft is a 2-piece drive shaft. There's a carrier bearing in the middle that helps support the drive shaft to keep it in line so it doesn't flex in the middle portion. That carrier bearing is loose. It should be a solid carrier bearing with the 2 bolts that bracket on it. So ours, I went under, did the inspection, and that carrier bearing is loose. The drive shaft is original to the car, so it has that many miles. I'm going to put the mileage up when I get out there. They're not serviceable, so to speak, by Subaru standards. They're just a replaceable item. However, it's probably once in the history of the car, replaced item. There are people who do rebuild them and use different U-joints that can be greased and everything. These are sealed, so yeah, replace it. The part was $700 and some $19 delivered to my home through a Subaru. It's a Subaru part. I don't buy for the running gear. I don't buy aftermarket. So for certain things, I will buy aftermarket. The lower control arms were aftermarket. However, the drive shafts and the CV joints and the axle shafts and all that, they're all strictly Subaru parts for me. So instead of having the dealership do it, I'm going to do it. It should be 4 bolts for a heat shield. You remove the heat shield. 2 bolts hold the carrier bearing in place. 4 bolts bolted to the rear end. And then that's it. And since you're replacing the whole thing, you don't really have to mark it for weight balance. The new one comes balanced. Oh, my head. This is my new headlight. So you can press the side here, and it's a light. It goes dimmer, although it looks like it's flickering in the thing, but it's not. Then it can be red. Then it has a little spotlight here on the side. And so that's my headlight. And it's rechargeable, USB rechargeable. And it's called Night Buddy. I got it on Amazon, not sponsored. And I think it was like $20, $22, something like that. Anyway, so when you need hands-free light, it works. It works great. Anyway, so I'm going to gather up some tools. I only need a few tools, hopefully. And I hope this repair would only take about, I don't know, maybe an hour. But I'll let you know the exact time at the end. All right, I'm going to grab some tools and get on out there. Okay. Here's a drive shaft. It's a genuine Subaru part. And again, this is for our 2014 Subaru Forester. Here's the part number that I ordered. And it came directly to our house. You can see the carrier bearing in the middle. That's where my suspected issue is. However, with the U-joints here and down here, they get worn as well. So I'm gonna finish taking this off. This is a balancer here. You can see it's a weight that they did when they balanced it. So we're about to find out if this will solve my issue. And just for reference, I just turned the key on. 259,698 miles. So there you go. Hang on. I'm having a development. I hear all this noise. 3 days ago, I caught a swarm. Let me turn you guys around. 3 days ago, I caught a swarm in my swarm trap. And now look. They can't be swarming again. They just got there. I knew I was hearing buzzing when I was working on the Subaru. However, I didn't see anything at first, initially. But now... Okay, I'm under the car. That's the exhaust, and that's the front of the car. This is the heat shield right here. This metal. I got to remove this heat shield because the drive shaft lives right there behind, underneath it. When you look back towards the back, it's part of the muffler system here. And then the back of the drive shaft is right there. That's the U-joint. So the first thing of business is to remove this heat shield. Let me see if I can make sure I get you guys in and get some light on this subject. My headlight, there we go. I can see. You can see. But there's 4 bolts. Just one here. It's on 4 in each corner. So I'm gonna take those off. And I'll see if I can get you guys in to look, but I ain't gonna promise anything. I'm not sure how much you can see, but I'm just gonna loosen these bolts by hand. Let's crack them loose. Oh, that one needs, okay. I need a wobbly for the last one. It's a little bit. Need a wobbly and an extension. Alrighty. Oh. Let's see if we can get these off by hand. One. It shouldn't fall or hit me in the face because I've got to kind of wiggle it out around this the exhaust pipe here. So that should stop it from at least falling and hitting me. Let's see here. I should have had my screw gun here. Okay, I got all 4 out, although I dropped one, but I'll be able to get it with my magnet on my flashlight. There it is. Okay, so now it's just a matter of wiggling this thing out. And we'll come this way. All right, put that over there. So now you can see, let's see, can you see? This is the carrier bolts here that hold the carrier in. And the front part just slides in of the drive shaft. And the back bolts up. There's 4 bolts that hold that. The bolt's on the back end, actually. So I gotta slide back to get that. I'm gonna loosen the carrier bolts first, and let them hang, and then I'll go back to the back. So let's get you guys back up there. As much as possible anyway. I don't know how much you can see. And if you can't see, I apologize, but again, I'm not on a lift. And I'm not on a lift. I'm laying on the ground. So I know it would be hard to see. I can't use tripod under here. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, let's see about you. Okay, you're not bad either. Okay, I just loosened them up. Now, I'm gonna have to get out and put the car in neutral so that I can spin the drive shaft, because you only got access to the bolts that are like on the bottom. So if there's bolts on the top that you need access to, you got to spin the drive shaft. So let me go put the car in neutral. Okay, I had to go and get something to get my pry bar to hold the drive shaft because the car is in neutral now. I got the front wheels chocked. I still have it. Little bit of pressure on the jack there, but it's also on jack stands on both sides. So I'm relatively safe here. I have to be able to spin the drive shaft to loosen up these nuts on here. There's 4. One, this is the flat part. So this is the front side, but the back side has the nuts on them. And once you loosen them, you can take them off by hand. And here is the weight on this shaft. It was put locally closer to the back and here, whereas the one on the other shaft, the new shaft, is more in the center. And there could be more than one weight for this thing to balance. So you want a balanced shaft. So anyway, they balance the shaft itself. The car is not balanced. That way they know that this is the part that needs to be balanced. You don't want vibration from here. And sometimes if these weights get knocked off, then your shaft gets out of balance. You can get some vibration in that aspect as well. Anyway, let me knock this out, and I'm going to see if I can get you guys in a spot where you can kind of see. Okay, I hope you can see, but I hold it with the shaft, hold the shaft still with my pry tool, and then I loosen it up by hand a little, and I'll spin the shaft, get to the next bolt. Oh, let's see, we gotta get in on this side. Ah, there we go. The tolerances are too close between the nut and the back end, so you can't even get a ratcheting wrench in there. So it all has to be done by hand. It's 12 millimeter, and also there is a washer, a lock washer on each one. It's one of those spring lock washers on each one. I'm not going to take them all out. I just wanted to show you that. All right. Now we got to wiggle by. There we go. I think this will be the last one I got to loosen. So I think I loosened up all the other ones. Ah, here we go. I think I broke loose all the other ones. So
Now you might ask yourself, yeah, let me see. Drop one. Yes, here it is. I got it. What keeps the back end from spinning? It's not a nut. It's just a flat piece. So it was round, and they flattened one side of it. Yeah, get some more light. They flattened one side, and that rides up against part of it, so that keeps it from spinning. Okay, all 4 bolts are out, nuts and bolts. There is no Loctite on them, but they do have the lock washers. So now it's just a matter of wiggling it out. And I think it has to come down towards me on the ground. Well, first I got to push it a little bit forward to get it off. It's going to come down a little bit, but it can't come too far because of the muffler system. Then I'll pull it backwards to take it out of the front. It just slides. It's a slide yoke. And then I'll lower the front to be able to push it all the way through out of the car. And I'll see if you guys can watch that. I hope I don't blind you with my light too much. But let's see where we're at. Let's do some prying here. There we go. We pried it loose. So you can see the shaft is loose. Oh, I forgot. I got to finish taking off the carrier bearing. I just loosened it. I got to remove it all the way now. Okay, I got the carrier bearing loose. I have forgot to take that all the way off. So now let's see if we can snake this back. And now snake it forwards. Okay, out with the old. I have the new here. And I know everybody's saying this would be so much easier with a lift. Somebody want to send me an outdoor lift? I'll take it. Even those little portable temporary outdoor lifts, I was always considering the quick jack system. Okay, we're almost there. Remember, I got to go past to get the front part of the shaft in. Okay, the front is in. It slipped into place. Took a little finagling. I'm blinded, you, I don't. Took a little finagling, but it slipped in. And the carrier bearing is in its right position. So I'm gonna hand starting the carrier bearing bolts. If I can see them. Got to go forward a little bit more. Let's see, wait. Let me do this. There we go. It's all the way forward there. Let's get this. See, there's no real witness mark, so let's find one bolt and one nut and one. Or there is witness marks on the on this flange here. There's witness marks, but it's all concentric. It looks the same. So since the shaft is balanced, we will just put in. Make sure that the flat is in the right position. Make sure we get our washer on, and we'll get our nut started. I'll do 2 of them, then I'll do the carrier bearing. I'll do 2 on opposite ends. Turn the shaft 180 degrees. Okay, I got that there. You got the lock washer, and the nut wants to stay attached to my magnet here. Let's see. There we go. We have the nut. All right, so that part's in place. Let's get the carrier bearing bolted up into its place. And we'll start them by hand. I know you can't see this, however, okay. You know how your arms get tired from working and holding your arms up? I call that noodle arm, noodles, like your arms just feel noodly. Anyway, I'm gonna tighten these down, and I'm gonna go inside and get my torque specs. I suggest if you're doing this, you get your torque specs. But right now, I'm just gonna put it hand tight until I can get the right torque specs and forgot the torque wrench. Now, I could have made this job a little bit easier by driving the car up on 4 ramps and then lifting the back a little bit higher and using jack stands as well, like I did before with the 4 ramps. That would have put the car, 8 inches taller than it is. But I didn't think I needed to do that. Okay. Now we've got to put the other two bolts, one here and one 180 degrees. And then put the shield back on. And after we do our torques, put the shield back on and then go for a test drive. I can spin the tire easier than turning the shaft by hand. All right, that's lock washer, nut. Oh, not gonna tighten them all until I put all four. We go tight, do the tire again. Oh, feels like something crawling down my back. Oh. All right, last one. Okay, so now since it has that flat on this end, I don't have to hold it with a wrench like when you got two nuts. You just have to tighten up this one side here, and I'm going to tighten it by hand. Okay, a little bit there. Tighten, go 180. Tighten this one. Okay. All right. I'm gonna stop you guys. Go run it. Get my torque it up. Okay. I just want to show you the carrier bearing while I'm under here. This is the one, and the other one on the other side of the exhaust pipe here. So you just tighten those two. Those are 14 millimeter. The four on the drive shaft themselves were 12 millimeter. And the four bolts that go here, there on the corners are also 12 millimeters. And those are for the heat shield. I'm gonna put that on right now. Oh, and also you're gonna get a little bit of drippage out of your transmission. You know, it was not a lot. It was probably a, couple of teaspoons or tablespoons, I guess. Nothing much to really worry about. Because the back of the car is higher than the front. So most of the transmission fluid was in the front. So you might either take you some brake fluid and clean that off of the exhaust before you get out. And I'll do that in a minute. But I'm gonna put this heat shield on. There's no real way for you guys to see it. I'm gonna try to stick you up here, but again, you gotta bear with me because it's tight under here. All right, get you out of the way. Didn't even use you. Let's grab this heat shield. Snake it on up. It's easier to snake it this way. Okay, so on the heat shield, it's easier to snake it in on the passenger side. So you go in from the passenger side and push it towards the driver's side. That makes it a little bit easier. And we'll just start these by hand. And again, these are 14 millimeter. Did I say 14? These are 12s. I don't know if I said 14 or 12s, but these are 12s. As you can see, I'm doing this all manually with manual wrenches. I forgot to bring the end of my impact wrench, my electric impact. I forgot to bring the chuck for the half-inch or quarter-inch drive, or 3/8 inch drive. So I'll just do it by hand, and it'll be fine. And there's one where you kind of need a wobbly, because the exhaust pipe is so close to it. It's just hard to get to. So you don't have to remove the exhaust. I think the dealership book tells you they got to remove the exhaust in order to change the drive shaft. And I think that's where they get you to for, billable hours. But you don't have to remove the exhaust. As you can see, I didn't even touch the exhaust bolts here. So this job is technically complete. I just have to test drive it. Proof of concept, so to speak, and then clean up my mess. I am gonna spray down the exhaust there with some brake cleaner, but I got to get out to go get it. So I'll be back. Okay, I just got back off of my test drive. I'm gonna show you the mileage again. 259,706 miles. So yeah, let's just say I got up to on a closed course 80 miles per hour. And there was no vibration at all. Yeah, it was a closed course. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Anyway, there was no vibration at all. So with that, I think I'm going to close this one out for now. So the Subaru should be fixed up. 259,706 miles. This is the first drive shaft that was changed on this car. So yeah, the U-joints felt really stiff, or fairly stiff. They made a lot of noise. They felt dry. both the front and the rear U-joint on that shaft. When I inspected the carrier bearing on the new shaft, it had a little bit of movement, like there's a bushing thing there that has some movement. Excuse me. And it seemed sort of the same. Oh, my our dash cam just popped on, started recording. Maybe it realizes I'm in here or something. Anyway, so that's it. I'm gonna close this one out before I start rambling. I know this is not a Mini. However, it was necessary maintenance that I had to do, because when we got up to 70, I still felt the vibration right in the middle of the car. Just now, I got up to 80 miles per hour on a closed course. Yeah, that's it. We'll call it that. And no, I didn't feel that vibration at all. So now I think we're pretty good, knock on wood, until probably right before winter, we'll get new tires for this vehicle. So next, I'll turn my attention to, I know y'all want me to say the Minis, and I am going to say the Minis, but I'm also going to say the boat too, because I have things to do on the boat before she goes in the water. She should be in the water sometime this month, but you know, give or take, whatever. We'll figure that one out too. All right, I'm going to close it out. Thank y'all for watching, commenting, subscribing. I hope this helps if somebody has to change the drive shaft. Again, oh, I didn't say this. There were aftermarket drive shafts available. However, one time we purchased aftermarket CV axles for this car, and they vibrated right away. I mean, within 200 miles, they were vibrating. And I couldn't wait to get those off. So, if you're gonna, for me, drivetrain wise, I'll get genuine Subaru parts. Now, it might be cheaper to order them online if you're gonna do it yourself than to go to your local dealer. I think I saved $60 by ordering the part online than I would have going to any of the 3 local dealers. Well, I consider them local. There's one here in Chesterfield County. There's one in the city of Richmond, which is about 15-20 minutes away, maybe 30, depending on traffic. And the same 30 minutes going south towards Petersburg, there's another Subaru dealership. So sometimes different ones run different specials, and I'll use them. But yeah, I saved probably about $60 just in the part, including shipping. And then I don't even know how much they would have charged me labor. I'm gonna call and find out how much would a charge be, and I'm gonna put that up on the screen. I'll just ask them how much to change a drive shaft, and just curious, and then see if they quote me a price. Anyway, that's it. I'm rambling, but you can do it. I did it in the driveway with a jack stands, a 14 millimeter, a 12 millimeter, a pry bar to hold the shaft from spinning to unloosen, and yeah, 14 millimeter socket, as well as a 12 millimeter socket and 12 millimeter wrench, box end wrench. So you can do it. All right, y'all have fun driving your Minis, have fun driving your Subarus, have fun on your boats, whatever it is you do. Just enjoy and have fun. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.